Fear and uncertainty are the fuel for extremists, and before the coming winter, people are experiencing such uncertainty as they have not experienced for a long time. The mix of crises, such as energy and coronavirus, can lead to overstrain and destabilization of democracy. Therefore, democratic parties should take a clear position, argue less, and encourage citizens.
So, what do the COVID and energy crises have in common, other than the fact that they've each plunged Europe deeper into trouble? Well, both are also events over which European leaders had a world of options in reacting. And in all cases, they chose the most heavy handed ideological paths that not only aggravated problems for their own citizens in their daily lives, but now they're causing electoral problems for the establishment. So now these establishment fixers are worried that it all risks blowing back in their faces as their citizens start showing a growing preference for politicians who have as little as possible to do with the establishment that created this whole mess. Oh, and by the way, here's yet another fine example of European establishment crisis management from just a few days ago. Exhibit number 2 million, I guess, at this point, the former German parliamentary president and finance minister Wolfgang Schäuble.
It shouldn't be taken badly. If you put on an old jumper and then a second jumper, you'll be fine. Electricity is of course very important, but sometimes it may not be there. So you should always have some candles, matches and a torch at home. And of course it's important to know where they are, if it suddenly becomes dark. You see, the state is not just something that delivers all sorts of things to citizens, like a kind of supermarket.
You gotta love the simplicity with which these European elites view the problems that they have caused. None of them in Germany apparently have the courage to stand up for their own industry that's being decimated by Brussels' bloc-wide sanctions, but they sure don't lack any gall when it comes to standing up against their own citizens and basically telling them to just suck it up. Are candles also going to power the German and industrial engine that drives the entire EU? Maybe he really thinks so. After all, these are the same folks who wrongly figured they could cut themselves off from cheap Russian gas for Ukraine and power the German economy purely with green energy fantasies. What carbon footprint do those things have? Have they assigned one yet? That's coming, I'm sure. Schäuble also suggested that Germans shouldn't turn to government to solve inflation and energy problems. So I guess they should just count on government to create those problems. When you get a glimpse like this into the mindset of European elites, is it any wonder that citizens across Europe, including in Germany, are already taking to the streets in protest of exploding costs of energy and daily living, and even demanding a withdrawal from NATO as French protesters did last weekend? If the European establishment was actively trying to boost the European right wing, well, they really couldn't go about it any other way.